Hello, everybody. I'm Brody, the driver of the number 18 Chevy, and you're watching The Reflection, the driver's safe space with a detailed backstory. And today I'm joined by the driver of the number 58 Chevy, Parker. He is one of the only people to win multiple times this season, number one in both D1 and D2 power rankings, and the top Rookie of the Year candidate for this season. Parker, welcome to the show.
Hello, Brody and everyone. It's nice to be here. I'm happy I could be the first guest on this podcast, and I'm looking forward to see how this goes.
Nice, great to hear that. And, obviously, first episode, so, you know, it's a good honor that you got picked, right?
Yep.
You know, All right, let's start off with some, icebreaker questions. If people don't really know you, for example, how did you get started in this, kind of community, the road race community? I know that you started pretty early, actually. What was it, 2024?
Yeah, it was late 2024.
Yeah. So how was that experience? Because obviously, a lot of things have changed in this community. A lot of new advancements and stuff like that. Each and every year, it seems like
Mm.
everything gets improved. Everything gets improved. More technical stuff gets evolved every single time. So, how was it joining really the road race community at such a you know advanced time when it wasn't so bogged down?
Mm. I got started in racing in Roblox as a whole, on like backstretch battles and NASCAR game mostly. But I only really found about these leagues when when one of my friends actually did, like, showed me one. He said he was trying to get into one. Update, he actually wasn't able to get into it, but I was, and I kind of just fell in love with it. Even though the league kind of sucked, I just found more and more, and now we're here.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it seems like for most stories. I mean, how most people got started, especially, back in, 2020, 2021, you had to jump Roblox group chats actually to get in, not through Discord, actual group chats. So it's actually interesting to hear how much, it's actually easier to get into it now than it was, back in the day, because you had to jump through it. And
Yeah,
did you start off with mesh cars or block cars?
I actually started in block cars. My first
Ooh,
league was ERS, which I have left now, but
fair enough.
I kind of have to thank them for getting me into road racing as a whole, though.
Mm, you know, obviously, like, there's obviously, some leagues that like sit well in your heart, and that it could be that could be one of them, that could be not. So,
Right, right.
a lot of times, what was your first? What was your? Do you remember what your first number was?
My first number was the 58, I think. I
Oh,
think it was.
so you're loyal.
Yeah,
So you're loyal to your number.
yeah. I've been loyal to the 58, yeah.
Dang. You know, but some people, jump numbers like, it's like the 4th of July just setting off different fireworks, I've heard people
Right.
that have like 12 different numbers that they choose from, and it's like, dear Lord. And so, with that knowledge of you carrying that 58 still, how does that make you
Mhm.
feel? Do you still feel like you're going to continue with this number for years to come? Or do you ever want to switch numbers?
I feel like it depends. If I get a really good team offer,
Mm,
but the only flaw is that I can't have the 58, I think I might take it. But I am going to try and remain loyal to the 58 because
mm,
I've won two races in it, almost three.
yeah.
So it's kind of already attached.
Dang. So, yeah, you you know what? It used to be actually like a. It's like it actually used to be like a lottery to get your number. They would actually pick out your numbers. They'll pick out your number through like an actual wheel and see what number you're designated to back.
Mm.
So did you pick that number yourself?
Yes, I did
Oh
actually.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was. Dang, this seat has gotten big, gotten more advanced, everything.
The
You
only
know.
reason I picked it is because I was looking through all the NASCAR Cup Series and Truck Series numbers, and 58 was just one of those that haven't seen much glory. So I thought I'd start using it and see if I can bring some light to it. You know?
That's crazy. I mean, smart move for sure. I mean, for example, like I know some people, take their number to heart. Especially, some people love to just try to keep their number as much as possible, or like monopolize it. Are you?
Right.
Do you like? Do you want to? Be that? Do you want to protect or quote unquote protect your number? Because I know some people love to protect their number. A lot of times with like we'll say Trey you with the 18 car. Uh, I mean, yeah, it's understandable. He won like two championships with it, but
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
would you be the same type of person? If so,
It kind of depends again. Like in Division 1, no, 58 is mine. Go away. But like
yeah.
in Division 2 and 3, and if I go to a different team and someone wants to take the 58 and they're like new and upcoming, I'll let them have it. I won't fuss.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but sometimes it's risky to see someone, have quote unquote
Right.
your number and just be bad
Yeah.
at it, and it kind of, it's like that, it's every like road racer's like itch, it's like I used to run that number, and now just look at this, this is just
Now it's
sad.
doing really bad.
Yeah, like dear lord, and like, what was your, let's go even more back, ground roots, right? Before
Mhm.
even you even started, all right. Before you even started, what was your out? What was your look, and stuff? What was your like before even road racing when you got into it? Like what were you doing beforehand? If so.
Well, I kind of have a thing where I swap like ideas and like oh my, what am I trying to say? Like I go through different phases of what I like. And I just happened to be going back into my NASCAR phase that I had in like 2021, 22, and 22. And my friend is also a NASCAR fan, so again, that whole league and stuff. But like I don't really I kind of phased out of racing for a while. I'm kind of surprised I'm still keeping at it.
Maybe it could be like one of those things where you until like you reach an age where you don't need to do it, you might stick with it, and it's a fun journey, especially when you get good races, and that's why I've been here for so long, because you got some good races, but there's also gonna be some bad ones, and you
Yeah.
know, and that like again, just honestly, are you looking forward to just staying here for another year, or you know?
I am yeah, I think after this season is over, I think I will stick around road racing.
Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, like people are getting outside a little bit more, stuff like that. It's not like we're the COVID era where it's like you know where you're all locked in a box and you're able to do all that stuff and don't need to go outside. But it's good to stick with the with the community and stuff, because because sometimes it's like a lost form of art. Because you look back at the videos and you're just like, wow, it was really big. It's still big today, but not as big as it used to be. So good thing you're just staying around.
Right,
What's
right.
your? What was I gonna say? Obviously you have different phases. I mean, were you ever interested in motorsports beforehand?
Yeah, actually. I watched a lot of NASCAR with my grandpa and my dad, and I've gone to a lot of different races.
Such as?
Uh-huh. Sorry, I'm a little distracted right now. But overall, I've been into motorsports for a while now.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. People start with their own things. I've seen freaking people switch from F1 to NASCAR in road racing. It's kind of crazy. It's a whole different discipline too, because it's not the same chassis. It's not the same everything. So it's interesting to see where everyone came from. Especially like for a good example, let's say, who's a good example? I would say like probably. There's really no one really. Everyone's a NASCAR
Mm.
person.
I've actually never really been that much into Formula One. The
Mm,
closest I've gotten into it is like IndyCar.
yeah. Have you done any different disciplines in road racing or just NASCAR?
I would think just NASCAR. I think I'd say so.
I mean, at like some point you might do like a endurance race or something.
Right.
That's always
I'm
fun.
mostly stick to NASCAR cars and
Yeah,
leagues, mostly everything.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's a different beast for sure, and if you want to stick in your lane, that's fine. Always,
Hmm.
being good in one discipline, it's always better than being mid in like a whole plethora of ones. Um,
Right.
you
Right.
know, obviously, um, I do want to talk to you about what this is. What this. Obviously, this is the Ice Card Media channel, so obviously
Hmm.
we want to get some insight on your experience here. Obviously, with the
Right.
league and
Of course. Of
how
course.
like all this drivers etc etc.
Hmm.
Um, what is your experience first of all? I know you're a rookie, so how's your experience in Ice Card? Is it great?
It's it's been really good, honestly. I think this is my best league. I think this is the favorite, my most favorite, my favorite one I've been in so far in my road racing career. It's been the most fun, the most successful. I'm really
Yeah.
happy I'm here, to be honest.
Yeah, it's rare to find these kinds of leagues. Honestly,
Right.
and
Uh-huh.
it's you know, and it's like in my own opinion, it's something. There's something special about some leagues that don't have their custom games, but yet they're still able to do it efficiently.
Exactly. Yes. I
Which
think I'm just good at NASCAR Remastered, to be honest.
I mean, season four, there is some hints, but like I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think it's gonna be guaranteed. I honestly don't think we're gonna be that far in.
Yeah.
I think we might just switch back honestly after season
Maybe.
four.
Maybe.
That's my prediction, but who knows? Maybe they might improve.
Maybe. Maybe.
Obviously, with your experience of comes with a lot of times probably what would I say is if your experience is good, what makes it good. Obviously, we already covered how it's the middle ground of custom games that are typically top of the league. Shouts to RL or something, or like even the low ball leagues. You know
Right.
that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will never talk about. They do deserve light. I'm gonna be completely honest. Um, so what makes this so special? So what makes this so special to you? Obviously the wins, but obviously
Yeah.
there's got to be something else.
Well, it's mostly just like the drivers, the community. They're nice to me, and I'm happy to be here
Yeah.
with them because I'm actually feel like I'm being treated well and not getting shamed for being new and kicked off the teams for no reasons. Yeah, that's happening in other leagues.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I saw it firsthand, but it's
Yeah, he
we keep
he
it
did.
pushing, and it's. I mean, a lot of times, as someone that everyone went through the new road racer phase.
Right.
Everyone like obviously if everyone's new, um, especially if especially if you're getting into it now, you have all these big players, not as big as they used to be, but pretty big players that genuinely don't that are not as good people as they used to be, honestly, because with the old people, you really could get information out of them, how to run better and stuff like that. But now it's like a rarity. And so, like with all the new road racers coming in, it's always the bread and butter of too aggressive, too chaotic, too, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
too haywire. And obviously, we always saw that through new racers, or even in yourself, And is that something? Is that something like you grown accustomed to since this is a league with a lot of new racers? I'm quite surprised how many new ones are there.
Sorry. I feel like it's kind of. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. It's a little new and strange, but I just think there's a lot go off of
Mm-hmm.
when you enter row racing. and I feel like, like you said, everyone has to go through it. Everyone has to
Yeah.
deal with it. There's some people that bully new people for almost zero reason other than just to fuel their ego. But
Jesus.
I think if once you get through it, it becomes basically like you. It gets a lot better, and you're more locked into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's more of a rhythm. You know, it's a more of a rhythm because especially with it being so fueled by there's still a lot of old heads up here, but a lot of new players are here and they get they obviously they learn the hard way a lot of times. They always learn the hard way. I've never seen anyone like learn very easily. They learn the hard way by getting penalties and wrecking their own car.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
And that's a tough road to you learn the hard way, especially when you wreck your car, and
especially yes.
yeah, especially in damn. All right, but yeah, chill with the
Moving
strays.
on.
We'll get to that later.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
We'll get to
We
that
will.
later. But focus on like I would say. Would you say with the past, obviously 2 months,
Mhm.
you've already got coaching from me, but also a lot other things, a lot of tips and stuff like that, a lot of new information. Does that
Mhm.
information really matter? A lot. This is for all the like new people getting in. Does that information really matter? Does it make or break your whole entire pace or qualifying or even race strategy
Yeah.
even?
I think I think it really does matter, to be honest. I really should be thanking you more for helping me with everything,
Mhm.
because it does actually really,
Mhm.
really help whenever you pay attention and you actually learn and experiment with the setups and the tracks. It just makes you look like you're not a rookie and you've been doing this for 10 years.
Exactly. And it's like a lot of times I see people, obviously I see people they practice for like 1 hour and they go away. They think they got the setups, but there's a lot of other things that you have to pay attention to. And you get into a rhythm of it where you're able to just learn a track in like 20 laps plus, and that's about it. And once you get into that uh rhythm, you're really like locked in. You're able to just run top pack without even practicing that much, and we've seen it with
Right.
you. We've seen it with you in D2. It's it's
Yeah.
a it's a lot of experience. It's a lot of you know it's a lot of stress and a lot of stress at first hand, but it gets easier. And that also brings me on to officiating stress because I know you're official D3 and D2.
Yep.
So with that, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much stress do you carry through that experience with officiating?
To be honest, I'd say it's around like 7.5 out of 10, because I have to make sure I've read all the rules, and uh, I need to pay attention even though I'm driving in Division 2, you know?
Right.
It's really hard to pay attention, and I don't know if I can trust people whenever they say, "Oh, that guy rode the wall." Well, I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't looking back
Yeah.
there.
Too busy taking the win.
Exactly, exactly, yes.
I
But
mean, I mean, there's always something. A lot of times, this is a forgotten art until you get to the very top. I feel like, obviously, like if any like staff owner is listening to this, I think anyone should implement the icky rule, and which is, even if you're lagging or not, you're still gonna get a penalty, which is fair, honestly,
yeah, yeah. 'Cause
because
even though you're lagging and it's out of your control, you're still doing something that affects the other drivers, you know?
mm-hmm. And that's the icky rule. So because icky didn't really care, you just gave up penalties, and I think that's the smartest option
Right.
all the time. So
I feel
obviously,
like it's gonna get a lot easier once I get some admin and flag permissions.
mhm.
But for now, I think it's still gonna be a little bit stressful.
Yeah, because you still have to time everything manually. You have to do everything
Yes,
manually,
yes.
and
Yeah.
obviously, we can talk about hell. We can talk about D2 Charlotte with that. You know. the manual counting.
That yeah, that sucked. I'm sorry I had to make you do that.
No, it's easy. That's easy. That's easy. Um, and like, efficiency stress is really something that is really scary a lot of times because you don't
Mhm.
know what actual lap you're on you get until you mark them down. Like for me,
Right.
I marked them down every 10 laps, which
Okay, yeah, that is pretty smart. That's smart.
yeah, and it gets easier, but
Right.
I wouldn't do it. I would never do it again. Too much work,
I
you
don't, I
know.
don't blame you. I
Yeah,
don't blame
and obviously, I already know what your favorite track is, but it's already on the website. But obviously, what is your favorite tracks to run? Obviously, we have
you.
Gateway, but
Yes, Gateway.
Other than Gateway, because obviously Gateway is like actually your baby at this point.
It is. Yes.
What's your favorite track to run at? It's other than Gateway. It's got to be. There's got to be like a few others, right? So.
Yeah, I'd say really any speedway like Daytona or Talladega.
Mhm.
I really like running them. I like pack racing. They're fun. Like the smallest mistake can wreck the entire field. I kind of like that. You know.
Mhm.
Uh, there's a few intermediates I like. I do like Texas and Charlotte, not because I wanted them, but just because I like them.
They're good
I
intermediates.
just yeah, they're kind of like super speedways, but all you have to do is let off just a little bit, and there's a
Mm.
lot less draft.
I feel like with you saying one mistake can end a whole race, it kind of makes me think. What's
Yeah,
crazy, especially you hate road courses, which is the
I
whole
yes,
entire point of a road course,
yes.
which is so counterintuitive. It's funny.
It yeah. I'm just realizing that now. Yeah.
Mm. Because a road course is about it is about consistency, a lot of consistency, like untapped consistency, and super speedways are the same way, but it's a different discipline, obviously. But
Mhm.
it's crazy how two different disciplines can mean, yay, I'm happy. Fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
I kind of
we're the complete
have a like.
opposite, actually.
Mm, I have like a really big grudge about road courses. I don't trust any of them except for like Daytona road course. That's like the only road course I'm kind of
Mm,
good at.
yeah, road courses are tough. Just
Yeah.
I don't I always didn't get why you liked super speedways. I always didn't like them because everyone is kind of dumb there. Hmm. Because everyone's all
Right.
chaotic. Everyone's all mumbo
It
jumbo.
it really comes down to the restarts because especially like in Division Two at the Charlotte Roval,
Yeah.
everyone was spaced out. You couldn't pass anyone.
Yo,
It
yeah.
just came down to if you got a better restart and if nobody wrecked you.
Yeah, restarts are a very big thing. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that also does bring on to the reflection part of this podcast. Obviously, we're gonna go through all three races that you raced in this this week, and then obviously we're gonna go in depth to it. This is gonna be tough, obviously for a lot of people, but it's obviously we'll start from. Do you want to go down from there? Rockingham, right? Rockingham was
Right.
jeez. You got some words. I know that you got some words. I also got some
I
words, but
yeah.
what was your opinion on Rockingham as a race as a whole?
As a whole,
Summary.
I'd say it was a pretty decent race, to be honest. We mostly kept it all green. There was only like a few big incidents, but it's really only because there was singular car wrecks, like you spinning out
Jesus.
like 4 times that race. Yeah.
Ch-
Overall, it was an okay race. It was okay.
Yeah. I mean, for me, honestly, I always thought of I always thought of Rockingham as some track that is very tricky, but it's also very fun to run, and there's a lot of things that you could do with that track, and obviously stage one was clean all race. Stage two though, oh my goodness, stage two. Oh no,
The reason I like stage 2 is because I led most of it.
yeah, but stage two, I just, stage two was okay. There was a couple of wrecks, right?
Yeah, I
Stage
think
three.
Yeah. Mm.
That one we need to talk about because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we both have stories, and it's for the same driver.
Oh, it is, it is, it
Mm,
is.
and jeez, if we could not keep it clean on stage three. Honestly,
We couldn't. I don't know how
mm,
many cautions there were. I kind of lost count.
they, there's two overtimes and there's
Hmm.
there's a wreck on the final corner. I mean, just honestly, just not really that good of a look. Um,
Yeah.
just a lot of times is just a bad, just really bad and stuff like that. We'll get to Rockingham. Obviously, we're gonna get the big elephant in the room. This race genuinely sucked for everyone in D2.
Division 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm moving on to the
Okay.
I think what this is one of the worst races in.
This is probably worse than Division 2 Daytona. I'm not gonna lie.
I
Division 2
The
Daytona was
Roval was
terrible.
brutal. The Roval was
Yeah,
brutal.
it was.
And we can talk about the hatred. We can talk about how everyone was choking out. Everyone was kind of like making mistakes here and there. Even I was making mistakes. But the thing about it is that your newfound hatred with sausage curbs.
I despise sausage curbs with every atom of my being. I need them taken off of every single track.
If you don't know what sausage curbs are, it's kind of like if Martinsville. You see that little curb on Martinsville, but it's like raised up and it's kind of like it looks like a sausage. That's a
Yeah.
sausage curb, and what it does to your car.
Oh,
If
oh,
anyone doesn't
oh.
know, if anyone hasn't raced at a road course, it is the biggest track killer in history. If you don't know how to run on a sausage, if you don't know how to run on a sausage curb, you're cooked. You're done for. And
Mhm.
a lot of drivers got to experience that firsthand. Fennec, you,
Yeah,
Stizzy,
definitely.
oh, ECR cooked. ECR got cooked.
Yeah.
Saya,
Almost everyone there, honestly. And
yeah,
Shake too.
yeah. I even got cooked by one. I got cooked by it like 4 times, and I'm like, yep. But obviously that comes with consistency, and I think the 3 overtimes were stupid. Honestly, we could not keep
Yeah, I'm.
3 overtimes for what, right? And there was no one that could keep it clean. What I heard was Stizzy wrecking Fennec on the final overtime.
That I have some beef with Shake, and he hasn't really even wrecked me yet.
Dang. And I also bring you to the most hated driver in D3 and D2 apparently now because of Charlotte Roble. Daytona D3, the Sunoco 100. You were racing in that race. I was
Yes,
commentating
it is.
it. Dear Lord, was that a wreck fest, but it was also very entertaining.
It was a very, very fun race, to be honest. It was fun to race and it was fun to watch. I bet it was fun to commentate too.
Dear Lord, can we talk about the wrecks that were
I
upon us?
I didn't really see much. I wasn't looking behind me, but I saw replay clips, and Jesus Christ, they flipped so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. If y'all don't know what happened, here, let me give you a rundown real quick. First of all, we had Fennec flipping into the catch fence. Mateo making the worst block in history, sending the 18 up and over into the catch fence, like in turn two. Number three is Stizzy and General turning, and then Stizzy flying and getting Newman. General
He-
flips again after
I-
trying to dodge a wreck,
right.
getting double Newman, by the way. We had a wreck that caused 3 flips. ECR probably getting a concussion from hitting the inside wall too hard.
I almost flipped. I got out of the air barn a little bit.
Yeah.
I was a part of that, I think. Yeah.
And to top it all off, Diego flew into the flat track that's outside of the actual super speedway.
Hmm.
So we had about 7 flips, and we had a 9-car wreck on stage one. And Mateo turning ECR, but that's another story. Honestly, when you were racing that, did you? Dear Lord, what was your opinion on the flips? Because you obviously now know that the trucks are very much lighter than the cup cars.
Yeah, they are. I honestly am not surprised we had a flip or two, but the amount of flips is the thing that
Is
scares
absurd.
me,
Is
and
absurd.
how aggressive they were. But
Who?
I definitely expect more flips in the truck series. I just don't know which tracks. Maybe one at Texas. Who knows?
If anyone gets hurt at Texas, they're done for. Especially turn one and
But
two since it's flatter.
yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
they
Um.
might fly out of the track like Diego did.
Oh jeez. Yeah, Diego. Let's talk about well, let's talk about rivalries, right? Rivalries. So obviously, I already know which one you're gonna say for Rockingham. You got so the mic is yours.
I really don't want to hate on her, to be honest. She's a good driver. I am happy racing with her. She just made some really dumb moves during that race that pissed
Mm.
me off.
You know,
Like,
oh, I
and the
mean,
fact that she doesn't do this in Division 2. She does this in her part-time Division 1 charter. I don't... I expect it if you're a Division 2 full-time, but you're part-time. You're not even doing it for points. It,
it,
it confuses me.
and it's obviously, when I call it like rivalries, obviously it's something that that is like the main sore thumb, for you in each division. Obviously, Shake was in D2. Um, Mateo was kind of an op, honestly, in Division 3. Throwing out the worst blocks in history and wrecking ECR on the final lap, by the way. If you didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah. And, like, obviously you got. I guess you have. If you want to say to anyone, anything, you got, quote, words of wisdom that you can say for each driver.
I honestly, most of the drivers in Ice Car are doing pretty well. I won't say any names that are doing bad, but some of like the honorable mentions I have that are doing really good. Um, there's ECR other than Rockingham. I still have a grudge over that. Uh, Fennec, you. Cyan's been improving a little bit, especially in Division 3. Uh, hold on. I gotta think. VT has been doing okay. Division 1.
Yeah.
I think Mateo is doing a lot better in Division 3 than he's been doing in Division 2. I'm looking forward to see what he could do.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times like me as a mentor. It's really a sight to see, obviously, but
Right.
it's obviously a sight to see everyone improving. But obviously, there is some things that do really need to be studied over, and it's like obviously words of wisdom is something where you can say what you think is improving. Obviously, I've seen you improve a lot, especially after trying to like seeing you understand a lot. You take in information very well, for sure.
Hmm.
Shake apparently has pace wise actually improved, and I'm not surprised. Um,
Yeah.
the pace wise is actually pretty good. He just needs to get work on his race sense a lot of times. His race sense
He's
needs some
too
work.
aggressive.
He's too aggressive. Yeah,
Definitely.
he's too aggressive. I've always said to them, dude, your aggressiveness is gonna kill you one day, and it did. It
That
literally
did.
did.
He's been suspended from both of the divisions
Yeah,
he runs in.
it killed him. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, I mean, I like to teach people a lot of times, and obviously, it's obviously a lot of stress too, though, because a lot of times I've heard even Aloy's retiring now because of the
Hmm.
accustomed to the race sense. A lot of times the race sense is really brutal. Obviously we can obviously this is a sub topic that I do want to go over is emotions during obviously it gets heated for sure.
Yeah.
I get heated even. It's I've been doing this for 5 years. I shouldn't be taking this too serious, but yet I do. Your emotions. I mean, the match you were was at Roval, and the match you were again was at Rockingham, but that was because obviously that incident with the full send. What makes
I
you ticked off, really, with people?
It's just the feeling of whenever I get so close and then something happens to me that screws it all up, and I just think about that missed opportunity I had. That's what really pisses me off sometimes. But I have been trying to calm down a little bit, not take it too seriously. It is Lego racing, but it's just the missed opportunity that
Hmm.
makes me mad.
And yeah, obviously, like, yeah, everyone deals with it, and everyone takes it their own way, and you know, I get sad over it sometimes. I got
Yeah.
turned, but it's a lot of times, you have all of your, again, I'll get another chance anyways. It's not like that in the world. Obviously, but we do want to talk about your future plans. Obviously, with this league, next season obviously you're gonna stay. It seems like, but what's your plans? That's speaking of even in the future, maybe even short time, even like in the next 3 weeks.
I'm not too sure to be honest. I know I'm definitely gonna stay with Monster Energy in Division One for next season at least. I am not too sure about Division Two yet. I haven't had any word if I'm staying there or not. Division Three, I might not even run a part time next season to be honest. It depends.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there's
don't really have much plans for next season because I'm
yeah,
focusing on here right now.
yeah. I mean, everyone takes their things so differently. Some people just think in the present. Some people think in the future. I'm,
Mhm.
obviously as an example, like I think about the races 6 races I mean 6 weeks into the future, and I send charts even, just trying to
Yeah,
analyze stuff, and
exactly.
a lot of times people like to do that, and but people like to wing it, and it seems like you're that type of person that really just doesn't really care until it needs to be, and that could be that could be something really good, or can bite you in the long run because
Exactly.
you're not planning a lot of times, and
Yeah.
I mean, depends really, and all right, and like your team too, your plans with your team, uh, Blitz. What are
Oh,
you?
Blitz Racing. Yeah.
Yeah, what is your team going to do next season? Because obviously you got some drivers in D2. Are you planning to run
Uh,
D1 with that team, or stay in D2?
uh, like me as driver, drive for my own team, or
I'm talking about everyone's. That means like what? That means like drivers from everywhere. Drivers from like Brick going to D1 maybe? Question mark. Or
well, it really depends. Brick hasn't really been that active this past couple
I
weeks.
love like scratches.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on that.
Roblox
Uh,
definitely just crashed right now. I'm so sorry, everyone.
it's okay.
Let me just run
Anyways,
back. We will keep that in as a blooper. I don't really care.
okay. um, Brick has been kind of inactive these past couple weeks, but if he does, wake up, I can see me getting him Division One charter.
Mm-hmm.
I also plan on keeping Cyan Division One. Division Two, uh, I'm not too sure yet.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about buying another charter in Division Two.
Yeah. Uh,
Division Three might expand that more too. I'm not
I
sure
think
yet.
yeah, I think a lot of times a junior motorsports always sticks to D2 because it's easier,
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but obviously you know I won't comment on the freaking crash because it's first episode. It doesn't. We'll fix that later. Uh,
Yeah.
in later episodes. Obviously first it's going well. So, uh, ooh, oh, this is a good question. Whoa, okay. Your financials. Your financials.
Oh, that is a good correct question. Like how I'm managing them or running
Yeah,
them.
because someone
Hmm.
might be $81 million in debt right now.
Yeah. I I really only buy cheaper charters and I don't buy them that often. I do good in races, so I get paid a lot. I mostly just don't spend all of my money on charters and commissions
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's going pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
I might go into debt in the next couple weeks if I do buy some charters, but I think I can get out of it.
Well, there's obviously like, do you know what debt leverage is? I mean, debt lever
Uh, Not entirely.
debt leverage is where you go into debt on purpose, but you earn it back because you bought such a valuable asset. So,
Hmm.
say like for me, if I was a free agent, but you went into debt to get me a D1 ride, for let's say Sonoma, you gain back that money entirely
Yeah,
in one race.
exactly.
So,
Yes, yeah.
yeah. So, obviously, if you played it right, you have debt leverage. And Monster, geez, I don't know if that debt's gonna actually be great, or I don't know. I don't know about that debt. That debt's really bad. 60 million, I think.
Yeah, it's around 60 million, I think.
60 million, and they barely earn. Yeah, they're not making it back. They're-
They might go bankrupt. They already are, to be honest.
I'm gonna need to win every single road course race there is to bring back that money, am I? Oh
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah, and obviously, like, what tracks are you looking forward to? That's a good question. That's a great segue. Uh,
Good question.
tra-
Uh, I could. I am looking forward to. There's a few actually. I like. There's Atlanta, uh, Dover. I'm also excited for Michigan too. I like all three of those tracks across all divisions, to be honest.
I like. Actually, I like your picks, honestly, and
Yeah.
you know, obviously, I have a different opinion, but it's
Hmm.
obviously because I beneficial. I think that my favorite track to run, I'm looking forward to, is probably Lamar. I like Lamar. That'll be
I'm
fun.
terrified for Lamar. I'm terrified.
Yeah. Because if y'all don't know, it's not the Mulsanne straight. It's the Mulsanne straight with the two chicanes.
Yeah, yeah. That race is gonna be horrid. I'm terrified.
The race is either gonna be horrid or very clean, because everyone's spread out.
Yeah, the restarts are gonna be horrid.
The
The green flags run won't.
the green flag.
Amongst a few certain
Yeah,
drivers racing.
I mean, there's, I mean, what I'm scared about is the chicanes at the final stuff too.
Yeah,
A lot
the
of times.
chicanes. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and then the other two tracks I'm thinking forward to is probably Dover too.
yeah.
Maybe it's a good track. I'm not. I don't. I'm probably locked into the playoffs right now, so I could probably say a playoff
You are.
track. Okay,
You are.
probably Talladega because I get to work with you. That'll be fun.
I was gonna say Talladega too. Yeah.
Talladega would be fun because I give you the craziest pushes of all time sometimes.
Yeah. I'm also kind of excited for Indianapolis because I do actually. I've tested that track a few times.
Yeah, same here.
I, yeah, I've been
Indy's great.
running okay. I won't leak anything.
Yep, that's something in the contract that I made people
Yep.
that have been taught by me to not do, and
Yeah.
it works a lot of times because
It does. It does.
that's, by the way, that's how I get pole. People, I will leak one of my secrets. That's how I get pole every time. People are dumb and they leak their lap times, and I set a goal in mind to beat their lap times by at least like 3/10, and that's how I got pulled.
Yeah. That's why I don't leak my times anymore.
Yeah.
I used to. That was dumb Parker era.
You leaked the time that was a 17.9 at Bristol, and that did not end well for you.
Exactly, like I said. Dumb Parker.
Yeah, dumb. That was real dumb. Take that for a grain of salt. But
A grain of salt.
yeah, I mean, playoff vision, playoff vision. So
Mm.
your playoffs. What?
Like my hopes and stuff.
Yeah, like your hopes and the tracks that are coming up, and are you gonna get far? Or are you gonna buster? Like be around one exit.
I feel like if I just keep up my consistency of getting podiums in
Yeah.
every race, I feel like I might have a good shot of winning at least one championship in one of the divisions this year.
Yeah.
I I'd expect to like maybe at least get to the round of four, but I
Uh-huh.
feel like something bad is gonna happen to me. I'm
Kevin
gonna get
Harvick.
like dumped or
Kevin Harvick.
something. Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes.
Uh,
I feel like I'll make it. I'll come so close, and then fail.
yeah, I mean,
Cause yeah, that's what I feel like is gonna
I
happen.
am base. I think I'm basically guaranteed it until like the round of like round of 6 or 4,
Mm.
because there's 2 road courses. So
You are yes. You're making round of four.
yeah, and I'm happy about that. So and obviously,
Yeah.
if I lock myself in early, I'm fully aware of helping my teammates because
Hmm.
hey, is there 3 Monster Energy cars? How many Monster Energy cars?
Uh,
Are we just
there,
only 2?
no, there's an Maverick in Division
Maverick?
One.
I mean, Maverick has a well. Maverick is not in. Maverick might not even be in contention. So
Yeah, and then there's Chubby in Division Two.
yeah. Well, like
Yeah,
well, in D1, then I can just help you get locked in every single time, and that's a good. I
and
mean
we got
that's teams.
Cyan, Shake, and Sham in Division Three.
They can work themselves out. I'm not going down
They
there.
can. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, when I race part time, sure I'll help them, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't help. I really can't help them. I feel like I do not belong in D2. I
I
belong in D3 sometimes. No, not D3. D2 sometimes. Quote unquote
sometimes yeah,
sometimes.
like a road courses or
Yeah.
something, you know.
Have some fun.
I I've been locked into the
Yeah.
Division One playoffs since Texas. I'm still really
Yeah.
hoping for a Division Two win, because even though I'm already, you know, I can't. I'm locked into Division One playoffs, which means I can only compete in one. There's still somewhat of a chance that I can compete in both playoffs. So I am still looking for that first Division Two win to
Yeah.
at least give me a shot to run in the playoffs. You
Yeah.
know,
And that's. I mean, you might just get it on points anyways. Honestly.
I honestly might if I don't. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
leading right now. So
Yeah. So. Yeah. That's what. Yeah. You basically. I think you've actually monopolized the whole entire D1 D2. Yeah.
I'm I've been I might do good at Darlington. I can't
Yeah.
guarantee I'll win,
I
but
won't.
you know.
Crap! I won't be there too. That's gonna be sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that is what it is. I mean, hey, that's a really good. But here's another really good question. That's a good thing you said that because it segues us to any like development schemes that you've been doing or something like that. I mean, we
Like future schemes, I
yeah
mean.
yeah. Any
Uh
new schemes?
I've been I've been thinking about a few, honestly.
Yeah.
I got a scheme in mind for the All-Star race at Gateway in Division 1. I have a scheme in mind for that. I
Mm.
can't really leak much of it because I want it to be a surprise and stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I have some schemes probably coming sooner or later in this season.
Yeah. And obviously it's a big thing. So it's obviously that's probably gonna be probably like the biggest thing about Darlington is the schemes, right? So
Right. It's
um,
it's the one thing that makes it unique.
yeah, obviously it makes it unique and also makes it really nice. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I think a lot of times I want your opinion. Actually, here's a good opinion. I want your opinion on the drivers around you. Like obviously it's like obviously we have our own bread and butter like people that we like, but there's also some people that we just cannot stand. And like for example, for me, I could be around like I can race against like Winner and Fennec all day, and probably like you if we don't wreck each other probably if we don't wreck each other from going too hard.
Yeah.
But there's also some people I just can't race against, and that's probably like Drax or I kind of get scared of racing side by side with VT and Diego. Honestly, I don't like that
Mm.
duo, um, that much. Not no hate in personality, but hate in like race terms. And I'm just
Race,
not
yeah.
comfortable. I'm just not comfortable. And who you're comfortable with racing against, and
Uh,
who you're not comfortable.
some of the definitely in Division 1, I'd say either Fennec or Cyan. I'm the most comfortable racing with. And of course, I'm comfortable with racing with you and
Yeah.
all my Monster Energy teammates.
Yeah.
But like in Division 2, I'd say probably Diego is probably my most comfortable in Division 2. We've had our beef in the past,
That's
We
crazy.
wrecked each other a lot in that like Daytona and Texas. We've gone past it though. I think we can work together.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and obviously we got people that you're not comfortable racing against, and who's that? Obviously, I think you.
Ooh, do you want me to be brutally honest?
This is the reflection. It's a driver safe space with
I
detailed
I'd
backstories.
say the most scared driver I'm racing up against in like Division 1, I'd say probably Ian Knight. Luckily, he doesn't race that much. Yeah.
Oh
uh,
jeez.
he's he's the worst in Division 1, I'd say. Division 2, I don't really need to explain it. Shake. It's kind of obvious why I'm not comfortable racing with him.
Oh, we
I
dumped him.
Yeah, yes, exactly, exactly. I don't want
No.
that happening to me. Division 3, I'm not gonna race in it that much. I can't really be uncomfortable with anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of things, and oh my goodness, it's a lot of things really, and I would say, whew, those are some. I mean, and I think the competitive driver I'm scared about is like obviously again Diego, and that's why I put Diego and VT together because those are
Right.
two drivers I'm not comfortable with, and
VT mostly races me cleanly. He can make some aggressive passes, but he's never
yeah,
full sent me and or dumped
yeah.
me. You know.
I mean, obviously, like you have to have some calculated aggression.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Exactly. That's why
yeah,
I'm not that mad.
you know, I mean, we got like we obviously we got 5 minutes, so we obviously are entering the mix section where any questions I come up with on the spot you can answer cleanly. And it's a lot of times there are questions that are very something that are even maybe even off the track. It's like personality wise, you like to hang. You're definitely someone that doesn't really. Ours not really very much an extrovert. You don't really talk to people outside the track except for your selective few, and
Right.
do you obviously I think does that affect you when you're racing or no? Because for me, I have a completely different mindset.
It like if I'm racing with people that I like to talk to off track, I'm usually gonna favor them and race them more cleanly and expect them to race me cleanly. Like
Yeah.
ECR, VT, Fennec, you.
Yeah.
Uh, but most people I don't really talk to that much. Try to race everyone cleanly if I can, but if
Hmm.
you're being a dummy, I'm I'm just gonna get by you. I
Yeah.
want you out of my way.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, I've done my fair shares of wrecking people. It's
Yeah,
completely understandable, and obviously obviously most of the time most of the time I'll make it look intentional that I wrecked you. If I mean to, but sometimes it just happens. I think a lot of times is I would think I would wreck people is me just people just not respecting you honestly, and I crash out a lot of
yes,
times, and I have
yeah.
some temper flares, and
I kind of crashed out at Roval. To be honest, that's my worst. I think I've been.
I mean I think my worst one was getting dumped 3 times. Ding.
Yeah, that I don't blame you for that.
Yeah, I mean I have limits and stuff like that, and obviously like it's tough, but uh
Right.
what else freaking I think I mean a lot of times I think there is some people that you don't understand, and I want to get your insight on this, especially with me being your now like your mentor and stuff like that. You probably have different views on most things that you've done beforehand. What are some things that you don't like about drivers, and what's your biggest pet peeve about some of the drivers that you race against? Um,
It's I'm a big personality guy. I like studying people's personalities and getting to know them.
yeah,
Uh, like
yeah,
you can confirm that.
yeah. I got read
Uh,
like a book.
yeah. I think my biggest pet peeves is big egos. It
Yeah.
really pisses me off a lot.
Um,
I don't
especially
like people saying oh, you got a 17.9 on Bristol, I can get a 16.5.
yeah. I mean,
It
unless if you can
just
back it up, shut up.
Yeah,
Like, actually, shut up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you back it up with some actual evidence
Yeah.
other than this talk,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
Unless if you proved yourself multiple times that you know that you can back it up, and like
Yeah,
obviously like obviously like every time like someone gets like pulled in something that's just like, man, I always see a wall right or something like the 21.9. Like I think is like a good example is that like I try to prove myself a lot of times, and it's a lot of times
right.
I stay a little I I am so quiet. I'm realizing this now. I stay real quiet until the race day comes.
You do, yeah. I don't really talk to you that much about the races
Mm, until it happens. Um,
until it happens.
yeah, and I think the biggest pet. I mean, on the racetrack, I think a big pet peeve for me. I think it might be just people not knowing their limits. That's like my biggest pet peeve on the track.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because why? Like it's you know it's so dangerous to like race it. You know it's so it's stupid to me how people run four wide and think it's a smart idea.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised we lasted that much for long at like Daytona in Division 3.
And then we wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, we actually got like 5 wide at one point,
And then we wrecked.
but then everyone died.
Yeah. Everyone died and stuff like that.
Everyone.
And it's just like, I think that's I think a big pet peeve. And I'll ask you one more question before we're off. I think um obviously we got some prospects up in here, and I mean set predictions now. I think who you think is gonna be D1, D2, and D3 championships. So who do you think is gonna
D1,
win?
D2. All right. For Division 3 champion,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Fennec. I'm gonna say Fennec. Yeah. I can't really say why or how. I just have a feeling it's gonna be that way.
Yeah. Who knows though?
Division
Who knows?
Division 2. I think it's gonna be Brick. I think Brick will win Division 2 championship. I think I'll get close if I do run the playoffs. He's gonna do some dirty move and get it though. I feel like it.
Yeah.
In Division 1,
It's a battle.
that's
It's a
that's
battle.
such a battle.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like one of three people. It's gonna be me, it's gonna be you, or it's gonna be like VT. Honestly,
I mean,
I
okay,
feel like
VT's a
VT.
strategist. VT's a real good strategist too.
Yeah, it's maybe winner if he does
Winner,
unretire
yeah,
and come back
unretired,
full
yeah.
time.
And I think, whew, it's scary too. I'm realizing this now.
Yeah.
It's scary because
Uh-huh.
because I'm a person. I'm a big person about consistency. So I gotta
Yeah. Yes.
obviously we gotta clutch up and stuff. And that's a big thing in the playoffs is your consistency. So yeah,
Right.
who knows, it might profit me or it might profit you, or maybe I get wrecked and I lose my shit, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
I feel like if I try hard enough, I feel like I can do a Daniel Hemrick and just win my first C2 race, also being the championship.
Daniel Hemrick would be fun. Yeah.
That would be a fun
Yeah.
run to do.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of those. Well, thank you, Parker, for being on this, first show, and
Yeah.
it's been an honor just to
course.
interview you. And it's like, God, we got a lot of information and stuff like that. And next week it's gonna be next week probably gonna be whoever wins. Whoever's gonna get top five, and then we'll see if I can draft someone. The
Sure.
you know, are you racing trucks tomorrow?
I
Texas.
I'm not gonna say no, but I'm not gonna say yes. There's a possibility I run
Okay,
Texas.
okay,
There's
yeah, there is a possibility, and that's great. And so, a lot of times I think it's gonna be nice and seeing you on track, and whoever finishes well and top three leagues gets a spot on here. Episode 5 will be a special one. You have to finish top 5 or more, and it's gonna be multiple people. So stay tuned
Oh,
for
that'd be
episode.
fun.
So stay tuned to episode 5. Thank you, Parker, and that is all for now.
Course.
Thank you for watching, and we are now going off. Thank you for spending your time with us.